Imagine yourself in your Lexus, Escalade, or other powerful vehicle, Warner being a dually. Whatever it is, it's emblematic of your status when you're a junior in college, motoring down the interstate of life at top speed with the vehicle on cruise control. Everything's good, life is easy, no clouds in the sky, the highway's clear all the way to graduation from college. You might notice in your rearview mirror a small dot which was not there previously. Seeing anything climbing on you when you're in cruise control mode is impressive, but the dot is going to get bigger in your rearview mirror, and finally you're going to be able to tell that it's a vehicle. And you're thinking, that vehicle must be coming at quite a rate of speed. If they're closing in on me, I believe I'll put the foot down, and you will. But the dot in the rearview mirror will quickly grow larger, and finally you'll see that it's the ugliest car you've ever seen. It's a color of green that we can't really describe, and it's tiny. And that car will continue to go larger in your rearview mirror until it begins to get close enough to see in your side mirrors. And then you really put the foot down because you don't want anybody passing you. You're used to being in charge and in the lead, and you don't want anybody to pass you. There is an expression from the people that are my age. It's called driving your door. That means you don't have quite enough car to get past me, but you can drive my door. That car's going to drive your door, and then it's going to pull up alongside of you. When you look to the side and look into that ugly, tiny car, the look that the person in there gives you is going to scare you to death. And then that car is going to pass you and get tinier and tinier until it disappears where you can't even see it in the horizon. The person in that horrific green Opal might be someone like me. I took the second ACT ever offered. That was 1962. Mr. Brown can verify. I made a 34, but we didn't know really what that meant. I had top grades. I was 9th in my class, but I didn't get any scholarships. There weren't any scholarships to be gotten. A man from Hohenwald, and I had to look up where Hohenwald was, but he gave me a dictionary and $50. I still have the dictionary, and I was using it just last week to grade the final AP papers. Okay, so I had no scholarships and no advantages, but I was determined. Most of you have had some scholarships that are available, from the Hope Scholarship on up to the ones that are offered by our military academies and some of our ROTC scholarships. And you've had the very best teachers in the United States at our high school. You will have it on cruise control those first 2 years in college. It's just a matter of, yep, I'll do the homework for a week in advance. You'll be sailing along in your own little cocoon listening to your music, and you don't want to be passed by a person or some interloper. It's not fair. You are entitled. Remember your line from the Scarlet Pimpernel: what begins as a dream can end as a nightmare. Don't get lulled to sleep. Coach Jones picked one of my old motivational sayings that I brought from Gallatin as an inspiration for our track team. The person who will beat you tomorrow is outworking you today. Mrs. Voice keeps on her door the poem by George Cecil from 1928. On the plains of hesitation bleach the bones of those countless millions who, while within sight of the pinnacle of victory, sat down to rest, and there they died. You have been well prepared. JPII sends its graduates all over the United States. Resolve today to yourself that you will put the hammer down from your first days on the campus, whether this summer or in the fall. You will use the ability to survive the tough schedule that we had here and make that discipline work for you. One of our original mottos at JPII uses some railroad terms. We're going to put the throttle on the firewall in August, and we're going to hold it there till May. Whistles screaming, bolts flying, smoke pouring from the smokestack, and firemen pouring on the coal. We'll let that engine run wide open until it blows up or gets us to the station. That's the attitude of the faculty at JPII. That attitude will stand you in good stead in your new setting. Don't be fooled by the laid-back approach. Pounders and our runners could tell you about the two-lap stagger. You're going to have a stagger on the rest of the runners at your school. But we all have a tendency to pull for the person that takes the baton behind and makes up the stagger. with a stretcher under wind. You've been given an advantage by your education here. Use it. Make a lifestyle of learning. Read a newspaper every week, online or in fact. Be informed. Question everything and get involved in your new school and community. Don't forget to study history, regardless of what Harvard University might say. History is important. Those of us that are baby boomers, respect your generation. We just don't trust you completely yet. Faulkner's Barn Burning was a wonderful short story, and the American Short Story Collection with Tommy Lee Jones turned it into a very memorable film. And we took notes this week in junior English, and one of the students turned in the notes and said, this man was doing something in a field with a horse pulling a hoe thing. A horse pulling a hoe thing? That's a plow. And the horse is a mule. My father was a sharecropper. I picked cotton for money, picked corn, and put it in a wagon pulled by a mule. It was my good friend. His name is Newt. I worked in the hayfield till I was in college. And I'm supposed to trust people that don't think anything ever happened before 1992. So you can see what position that puts us in. Don't forget that the lessons of the past will always solve the problems of your future. Make a good first impression at your school. Remember the JPII way of entering the saloon? You can either creep in, hide out, move toward the back of the bar and order a sarsaparilla, or you can kick the doors, the two batwing doors off their hinges, knock the biggest guy off his bar stool and order a shot of red-eye. That's what we call the JPII swagger. Don't you think I get my competitive juices from over 30 years of coaching activated by emails from our former students? Coach, I just wanted to tell you I'm kicking Major League butt at Vanderbilt University. Coach, thank you for 4 amazing years of English. I'm finishing at Georgetown University. That's Louis Morshead. He's graduating this year. Coach, you were right. My freshman English teacher is from Azerbaijan, and he wears a native headdress. I'm teaching him how to vary the beginnings of his sentences with some prepositional phrases with gerundive objects. And my favorite from the Naval Academy, Coach, you'd love it. I spoke for 20 minutes to my seminar class on Henry Risley. My teacher had asked if anyone in the class had ever heard of him, and I had. Learn to talk that academic trash. This will be the best paper you get. Or you can't ask me anything about this assignment that I don't know. A boast like that is in the best tradition of Anglo-Saxon heroes. It intimidates your opponents and it forces you to action. Remember your Treasure Island quote from Dr. Livesey. When you get near the treasure, be prepared for squalls. That's storms. We had one this morning. Don't expect a clean ride. Be prepared for problems and refuse to be a whiner or a victim. Remember the line from Act 4 in Macbeth. There is no night so long that it never finds the day. Tough it out. You're prepared to succeed. You've been blessed by having extraordinary teachers and by having extraordinary aptitude and intelligence. You have the responsibility to use it. Don't forget our Knight's Code of Chivalry byword, noblesse oblige. Rank has obligation. Keep service to others at the forefront of your lifestyle. To whom much has been given, much is expected. We expect to hear great things from you. Just leave the cruise control off and keep your eye on the rearview mirror. You never know who might be gaining on you, and it might be somebody that wants the same job, position, scholarship, and graduate school that you want. Don't give up your dreams without a fight. Congratulations, class of 2010.